Hey, good morning, everybody. It's early mornings LALATE. The toast is toast and the butter is butter, and I'm here, you're here, and this is the continuation of early mornings LALATE, the 6:30 edition, with big updates across the board. Janet Yellen has urged Joe Biden on Friday to get stimulus rolling out right away. She says it's taking too long. That's the first item. Second, a new strain of the virus has been now confirmed, found just miles away from the White House. What does that mean for your stimulus? And additionally, new concerns that the Biden administration did not prepare a stimulus package based upon the changing face of the virus. As it spreads quicker, is the stimulus package too small? I have all those incredible details in a major new recording. I'll be answering some of your 2,000 questions in this morning's Early Mornings LALATE. Hey, good morning, everybody. The toast is toast and the butter is butter, and I'm here, you're here, and thank you for joining me on the continuation of Early Mornings LALATE, the 6:30 edition. If you've not subscribed, please subscribe, because this is the best darn channel there is out there on stimulus, delivering coverage on the financial markets and stimulus 24/7, 7 days a week, programming from 1 a.m. to 1 a.m. the next day. We started with EIDL and went to FPUC this morning, last night, late night. We had a live chat on Hazard Pay, and we'll be continuing again at 8:30 a.m. with Mornings LALATE this morning. So please don't miss a broadcast. Subscribe. Hit that alert button so you get the alert when a new video goes live. Also, like this video. Meantime, if you've not become a member, consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, or Calcino VIP. Get access to documents before anyone else, explains how to get stimulus before anyone else, and detailed analysis on money across the board that is normally not covered elsewhere, that is in the third stimulus package. Subscribe, and the link is in the description and the top of the chat, and also in the video's pinned comment. So much happening today, but first, this is the instant premiere over there, so enjoy that instant premiere if you're tuning in while this video is starting. It starts at 6:30 and as always features an instant premiere. Chat with your Purple Power buddies and interact and share your thoughts about what you think is going to happen next week on stimulus. And with that, let's get to the breaking news. The breaking news as you start the new morning is that Joe Biden was told on Friday, get going. It's going too slow. What happened? Well, last Monday, he was saying that he would see this in a few weeks. Then his press secretary said it's see in a few weeks. Well, it started to turn into a see you in a while. And you stepped up, the Purple Power, the followers of the channel, saying, gotta do this right now. And ultimately, Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer followed suit. Nancy Pelosi fast-tracked the third stimulus package bill in the House. It's likely to be set for a vote tomorrow, the day after Nancy confirms, and then the Senate will vote on it later this week. Chuck Schumer confirms. The president will have it potentially by the weekend. This is all incredible, great news, but that's not where we even were for purposes of Biden on early Friday. How quickly did it change? Well, it changed as Biden was told, you're not moving fast enough. To which he said, you have to act now. There's no time to delay. The risk is not doing too much. The risk is not doing enough. And his press secretary then changed as well. She said, we're taking a lot of creative steps, a little outside the box. Certainly the preference would be on a plane and fly across the country. And Chuck Schumer also said if our Republican colleagues decide to oppose this urgent and unnecessary legislation, we'll have to move forward without them. Well, that was then. Ironically, Mitch McConnell and Nancy Pelosi also agreed it's time to move quickly. We want it bipartisan always, Pelosi said, but if we can't surrender if they're not giving us what they're supposed to be doing, we have to be ready. Amen. And McConnell actually said he's ready to do this next week. As early as next week, we will begin the process of considering a very strong COVID relief bill. Wow, Mitch. Who replaced Mitch McConnell with this Mitch McConnell? He said next week, and very strong COVID relief. Gone was that horrible word, narrowly tailored, which I don't think anyone likes that word. It means cheap. It means El Cheapo. That was that, but then came a new twist. What was the new twist? The new twist is the concern that Joe Biden's bill was written at a time at which the situation was far different economically than it is today, and that it may not be relevant anymore. What am I talking about? Number one item, the virus. When Joe Biden wrote the bill, there was only one virus with no other variation at issue, and the belief that Joe had enough doses to vaccinate the country quick enough and open it up. He said it himself, and those statements were just a few weeks ago. He said his plan is to reopen the country in about 90 days, reopen schools and reopen businesses. How? He said within 100 days, I'm going to vaccinate 100 million people. How? He said we have the doses. Ironically, those series of statements were based upon one or the other, and ultimately they all depend upon one factor. Do you have the doses? Apparently, he made the comment at a time in which he did not know whether he had 100 million doses. Oops. His CDC representative had 2-3 days later said, we don't have 100 million doses. In fact, she said worse. We even don't know how many doses we have. Oh boy, you just promised stimulus based upon how many doses you have. And that didn't end there. Then came the reports. The reports started on Saturday morning and they continued by Saturday evening. Let me tell you what started on Saturday morning. Saturday morning, a major new report in Politico, which is a nonpartisan type publication, said that Biden set ambitious vaccination targets and imposed strict public guidelines, but he's behind the 8 ball. Biden officials leading the coronavirus team launched a series of regular briefings, but the briefings were short on details, and behind the scenes, officials say the team is still struggling to get a handle of basic information. One of the virtues of a well-run transition is that by the time you have the reins, you have developed some sort of rapport and trust with the career people you're working with, said a person familiar with the administration. The courtship has been unnaturally short. Nobody has that's one person, an insider says. Another person, Julie Morita, member of the Biden's transition team and executive vice president of the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation, says nobody has a complete picture on COVID. The plans that were being made with the assumption that there was more information be available and revealed once they got in the White House. When they got there, they didn't have the information. It wasn't there. It wasn't there. It's the Mike Tyson quote. Everyone's got a plan until they get punched in the mouth. Then they are planning, they're competent. It's the weight of everything. It's just heavy. What does this all mean? It means that Biden was planning your stimulus based upon the belief that when he walked into the White House, he would see there's 100 million doses. And then, based upon that belief, there would be 100 million doses. And based upon that belief, he could vaccinate 100 million people. And based upon that belief, he could do it in 100 days. And then based upon that belief, he could open up schools and businesses. And then when he showed up and he didn't have that information, what did he do? He didn't say anything. And your stimulus bill is all based upon that initial presumption, that initial assumption. And now that assumption is very wrong, then what? The stimulus package is too small. It's not only too small because it's not what was promised, it's not only too small because it's economically too small, it's now too small because the pandemic is a different pandemic than Joe Biden thought it was 2-3 weeks ago. And then there's this. The Politico report claims that there's 20 million doses missing the Biden administration can't find. Not 20,000, 20 million. For a team that said they're going to vaccinate 100 million in 100 days, well, that's 20 days of vaccinations that are gone. Poof. Where are they? They don't know. And we weren't done there by Saturday. Then late Sunday came the report. And you heard it last night on Evenings LALATE. The report, B.1.351. What is that? It's not Nancy's hairstyle color number. No, it's not that. It is the number for the variant of the virus that denotes the South African virus variant. And guess where they found it? Just a couple miles away from the White House in Baltimore. In Baltimore, they found a person with the South African virus variant, and they don't know how the person got it because the person was not traveling. Meaning that there's some super spreader going around this country that had visited South Africa and is carrying that virus strain and has now infected people in in the Carolinas, Minnesota, and now also in Baltimore. And with that, that is also causing concern that Biden just is behind on the 8 ball in getting control of the virus and doing stimulus ahead of the ball on the virus. Biden's stimulus was betting upon this was the end. We're almost finished. We're almost gone. We're almost coming out. We're making the turn. No, we're getting backwards. Moderna confirms that if you got 2 doses of their vaccine, you better be getting the booster shot after about 6 months, because the booster is needed to combat the South African variant. Other people haven't even gotten vaccinated. The announcement about the discovery was made by Governor Larry Hogan late Saturday. We strongly encourage Marylanders to practice safe extra caution to limit the additional risks of transmission associated with this variant. There you go. What are your questions or comments? Let me get to them right now. Pat Worthington, they don't care about the elderly. They never did. That's why they have a little raise every year. Look at the veterans who serve this country. What? They don't care. Drake Smith, our government's a joke and always has been. Nancy Doyle, their words are empty like our bank accounts. Beth Ford, I commented to Janet Yellen about her saying she wants to go big. I asked her, what does her big look like on paper? It's just a little post-it note. What does your big look like on paper? It's like a little thumbtack. It's like a tic-tac. What does her big look like on paper? And it's going to be covering everything that the people need. It's not what I want. It's a need to get this economy stabilized and going forward. No response. Well, it's Janet Yellen. I mean, she has, she's sort of Treasury Secretary. But thank you that's a great comment, Beth. I really appreciate that. Viola Willis, the government makes promises they never keep. Kathy E. Rose Weiss, they do nothing but lie, this dang dragging their feet and no act, all broken promises. Chris Harrison, there's nothing on my highway but potholes full of empty bank accounts. He needs to start putting something in them. I don't know what that means. Potholes? Okay. Nat Lee, shoulda, coulda, woulda. That's all we hear. Well said. Nat Lee, they say we're get to it later. Hopefully we will forget about it. Karen Baldwin, this waning is going to kill a lot of people because they can't wait any longer. Already on the streets of the virus are going to go without food and shelter in this weather. Billy K. Woods, they don't care now that they have all in office. Elizabeth Hall, the $1,400 is from the second stimulus package. He needs to give us the third stimulus check of $2,000. That's what he promised us in Georgia. Elizabeth, preach. I love that. Lorenzo, the government needs to get their darn act together and stop acting like this COVID virus situation, economic meltdown is going to bounce back in a month or so. That's a great comment, Lorenzo. Oh my goodness, I love those. If you have questions or comments in today's video, drop them in the comments below. I might feature them tomorrow's recording. Meantime, join me later this morning on Mornings LATE at 8:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'll have big updates across the board like you saw these updates today. Meantime, if you did not watch Overnight's LATE, the 2 shows EID or FPC, watch them. And if you missed the Early Mornings LATE Part 1 show right before that, catch that as well. Stay informed, stay focused, continue to smile, and also consider becoming a subscriber. We're trying to add 5,000 new subscribers over the next 2 weeks, so let's try to do it. Meantime, like this video and consider becoming a Purple Hawk, Purple Power, or Calcino VIP member. The membership link is in the pinned comment and also at the top of the chat. Have a great morning, and I'll see you later on Mornings LATE.